The rain hammered the awning like 1,000 accusations, and I stood there in the doorway of my tiny Brooklyn coffee shop, watching her Bentley pull up to the curb as if it owned the storm itself. She stepped out, umbrella forgotten, her designer trench coat soaked through in seconds, and the words she hurled at me cut deeper than the thunder. "I can't do this anymore, Alex. My father's ultimatum or you, and damn it, I've chosen wrong every time but this." Her eyes, those fierce hazel storms, locked on mine, and in that heartbeat, I knew our fragile world was shattering. Not with a bang, but with the quiet click of her heels on the wet pavement, carrying the weight of empires we'd never asked to topple. I wiped my hands on the apron stained with espresso grounds and regret, the kind that sticks no matter how many scalding rinses you give it. The shop, been there, done that, was my kingdom of chipped mugs and half-hearted dreams, tucked between a falafel joint and a laundromat that always smelled like forgotten socks. It was the sort of place where locals nursed hangovers with black coffee and tourists snapped pics of the chalkboard specials, pretending they understood, single origin pour over. Me? I was the king of mediocrity, 28 years old, with a rap sheet of bad decisions longer than the line on Black Friday at the bodega next door. That morning started like any other. Alarm blaring at 5 a.m., the groan of my futon in the back room protesting another night of fitful sleep, haunted by echoes of my ex's parting shot. "You're too broken for anyone to fix, Alex." "Yeah, well, broken sells lattes." I flipped on the lights, the fluorescent buzz a poor imitation of birdsong, and fired up the grinder. The aroma of Ethiopian beans filled the air, a temporary balm against the gnawing in my gut. Rent was due, tips were shit, and the latest med bill from Mom's endless chemo rounds sat like a guillotine on the counter. Cancer didn't care about your orientation or your optimism. It just took. By 7:30, the rush hit. Yoga moms in Lululemon, suits barking orders into Bluetooths, the occasional artist scribbling in a Moleskine like their next masterpiece depended on oat milk foam. I moved on autopilot, steaming milk, tamping grounds, flashing that crooked smile that said, "I get it. Life's a grind." That's when she walked in, Eleanor Voss, though I didn't know her name yet. She was a vision straight out of a Fortune 500 spread. Mid-30s, sharp bob haircut the color of polished mahogany. Eyes like polished emeralds under the rim of her tortoiseshell glasses. Her suit probably cost more than my yearly lease. She scanned the menu with the efficiency of someone who negotiated billion-dollar deals before breakfast. "Large Americano, black, no room," she said, voice like velvet over steel, sliding a black Amex across the counter. Our fingers brushed, electric, accidental, and I swear the espresso machine hissed in jealousy. "Rough morning?" I asked, nodding at the rain lashing the windows. She glanced up, a flicker of surprise crossing her face, like no one had dared comment on her armor before. "Every morning's rough when you're Voss Industries." I chuckled, stamping her card. "Sounds like a tagline for bad whiskey." "I'm Alex." She took the cup, lips curving just enough to hint at a smile. "Ellie. And this?" She lifted the coffee like a toast. "Might just save it." She became a fixture after that, sliding into the shop like a secret habit. Mornings blurred into a rhythm. Her order memorized, our banter sharpening like a well-honed knife. She'd vent about boardroom battles. Her father, Reginald Voss, the iron-fisted CEO who'd built an empire on steel and silicon, expecting her to inherit it all without a crack in the facade. I'd counter with tales of my own chaos. Growing up in Queens with a dad who bailed when I came out at 16, Mom's diner shifts that left her hands raw, my string of foster gigs after she got sick. "You're resilient," she'd say, stirring sugar she never drank. "My world's all glass ceilings and golden parachutes, yours sounds real, real." That word hung between us like steam from the frother. One drizzly Tuesday, as the shop emptied, she lingered at the counter, tracing the rim of her mug. "Alex, what's the tattoo?" Her gaze on my forearm, where ink bloomed. A compass rose, thorny vines twisting through it. A memento from juvie after a dumb fight that nearly cost me everything. "Reminder," I muttered, rolling up my sleeve. "Directions, not straight lines. Lost my way young, drugs, bad crowd. Clean 5 years now." Vulnerability hit like a sucker punch. I braced for the polite exit. Instead, she reached out, fingers ghosting the lines. Beautiful. Flawed. Like the best stories. That touch lingered. We started closing rituals. After last call, I'd brew us off-menu specials. Her with a dash of cinnamon for that Voss fire. Me with whiskey laced if the night's demons howled. Conversations deepened, peeling layers. She confessed the isolation of her penthouse life. Arranged dates with hedge fund bros who saw her as a merger, not a woman. Dad's grooming me for the throne, but what if I don't want the crown? I'd share fragments of my queerness. The bar crawls in the village where I'd found fleeting connections. The ache of loving men who couldn't stay. You're not flawed, Alex. You're human. That's rarer than you think. By week's end, the line blurred. One night, thunder rattling the windows, she arrived soaked again. No Bentley, just a cab. Bad merger, she said, voice cracking as she collapsed onto a stool. I locked the door early, brewed chamomile, and listened as she unraveled. A deal gone south, her father's rage echoing corporate betrayal. He sees me as an extension, not a daughter. Tears welled. I handed her a napkin, our knees brushing under the counter. Hey, I whispered, tilting her chin. You're more than his shadow. Our eyes met, and the air thickened, charged. Her hand found mine, warm and sure. Then, soft as rain, her lips on my cheek. A thank you or a promise? I pulled back, heart hammering. Ellie, she smiled, fierce and fragile. I know, worlds apart. But as she left, her silhouette fading into the storm, I touched where her kiss burned, wondering if bridges could span chasms like ours. Weeks turned to a whirlwind. Ellie ditched the suits for jeans on off days, sneaking in through the alley to avoid prying eyes. We'd steal hours in the back room, her laughter echoing off exposed brick as I taught her to pull shots. Gentle, like seduction, she'd counter with finance hacks, turning my ledgers from red to black with a few app tweaks. See? Even baristas deserve empires. Our touches evolved. Fingers lingering on hands, shoulders brushing in tight spaces. A stolen glance that said everything words couldn't. But shadows loomed. Her phone buzzed incessantly, father flashing like a warning. One evening, as we shared a rare dinner, takeout Thai on my futon, it rang. She answered, voice shifting to boardroom ice. Yes, sir. Acquisitions on track. No distractions. She hung up, face paling. He suspects something. The driver's been tailing me. I set down my chopsticks, gut twisting. Then let's make it worth the risk. I leaned in, heart pounding, and kissed her. Soft, tentative, tasting of pad thai and possibility. She melted into it, hands fisting my shirt, a gasp escaping as worlds collided. That kiss unlocked floods. We navigated the new terrain with whispers and wonder. Her first time holding a man's hand in public, disguised as colleagues at a farmer's market. My first gala invite, her +1, tux rented from the thrift shop. In her world, I was the charming anomaly. In mine, she was the sun breaking through smog. Love bloomed quiet, notes tucked in cups, texts at 2 a.m. about dreams deferred. You make me brave, she'd text. I'd reply, you make me believe. Yet cracks spiderwebbed. Her father's empire demanded loyalty. Mine, survival. Mom's treatments escalated, bills piling like snowdrifts. Ellie offered help, discreet wires, no strings. Let me, she'd plead. Pride bristled. I won't be your charity case. Arguments simmered, unspoken fears. Was I her rebellion, a phase before the crown? Was she my escape, a fairy tale I'd wake from? The storm broke on a crisp autumn night. I closed early, planning a surprise, picnic in Prospect Park, stars and stories. But she arrived frantic, eyes wild. Alex, we need to talk. Her words tumbled. A board vote tomorrow, her ascension tied to marrying Victor Langford, the rival heir. A merger sealed in vows. Dad's forcing it. Say no, and I'm out. Disinherited, exiled. My world tilted. Then say no. She laughed bitterly. Easy for you. Your stakes are personal. Mine are dynastic. Voss Industries feeds thousands, jobs, legacies. I paced the shop, coffee cold. So I'm the distraction? The fling before the altar. Hurt laced my voice, raw as the tattoo scars. She grabbed my arms, desperate. No, you're everything. But if I choose us, I lose it all, my seat, my voice. Thunder rumbled outside, mirroring the roar in my chest. Then choose, Ellie. Hearts or boardrooms? Silence stretched, agonizing. Finally, she whispered, I need time. She fled into the night, leaving me with echoes and an empty cup. Days blurred into fog. The shop felt hollow. Customers' chatter grated. I poured shots mechanically, replaying her touch, her tears. Mom noticed, her frail hand on mine during chemo waits. Love's not a ledger, Mijo. It balances on faith. Faith. I'd lost that young, trading it for survival. But Ellie? She was faith incarnate, fierce, flawed, fighting for light. Then betrayal's blade fell. A tabloid pinged my phone mid-shift. Voss Heiress seals empire with Langford Union. Wedding bells in the boardroom. Grainy photo. Ellie, radiant in white lace at a press event. Victor's arm possessive around her waist. Caption, love and legacy entwined. My knees buckled. A mug shattered on tile. Customers stared. I bolted to the alley, retching into the rain barrel. Betrayed. Discarded. The flawed barista after all. Rage simmered like over-extracted brew. Bitter, scalding, impossible to spit out. I slammed through the back door, the alley's graffiti walls closing in like judgmental whispers. How could I have been so naive? Ellie Voss, queen of cutthroat deals, playing me like a startup pitch, promising disruption, delivering status quo. My phone buzzed, her number. I hurled it against the brick, screen cracking like my resolve. Fuck your perfect world, I muttered, sinking to the wet pavement. Rain mingling with hot tears. Flawed? Yeah. But her? She was the fracture. The shop reopened next morning under fluorescent lies. I plastered on grins, slinging lat trace to hipsters who droned about crypto crashes, oblivious to my implosion. Mom called from the hospital. Alex? You sound hollow. Come see me after shift. Her voice, weak but warm, anchored me. I nodded to the empty line, whispering promises to the steam wand. But inside, tempests raged, memories of her laugh in the park, her fingers mapping my scars like treasures. Lies, all lies. By noon, the door chimed. Not her. Victor Langford strode in, bespoke suit screaming old money, blonde hair slicked like a Wall Street shark. He scanned the menu with disdain, then fixed on me, cold blue eyes dissecting. Americano, and whatever the help drinks. Help. The word stung. I tamped grounds harder, machine groaning. As I handed it over, he leaned in, voice silk over venom. You're Alexander Reyes, right? Eleanor's barista. My jaw clenched. That's me. He smirked, sipping. Charming spot. She raves about your authenticity. Pity it's temporary. Family businesses demand permanence. The implication landed like a gut punch. I gripped the counter, knuckles white. Tell her congrats on the merger. He chuckled, low and lethal. Oh, I will. But between us, she's made her choice. Empires over espressos. He dropped a 50, tip or bribe, and sauntered out, Bentley purring away. I crumpled the bill, throat burning. Temporary. That's all I'd been. A rebellion. A notch before the noose of normalcy. That night, I drowned doubts in village dives. The thump of bass and strobe lights blurring edges. Bodies pressed close. Tattooed torsos, easy grins, but none ignited. A guy with piercings bought me a shot. Rough night, handsome? I waved him off, haunted by hazel eyes. Dawn found me stumbling home, alley cats judging my stagger. The shop waited, merciless. Ellie reappeared 3 days later, unannounced, mid-rush. She looked wrecked, dark circles under those emeralds, bob disheveled like she'd clawed through hell. Alex, please. The line hushed. I jerked my head to the back. Door locked. We faced off amid sacks of beans and empty crates. Saw the headlines. I spat, arms crossed. Victor send his regards? Her face crumpled. It's not what you think. The photo staged. Press op dads forcing the engagement announcement to lock the deal. But the wedding? It's a bluff. Bluff. The word ignited fury. Bluff? You let the world think you're his. While voice cracked. I turned away, chest heaving. She stepped closer, scent of vanilla and vanilla-laced fear enveloping. While you what? Break? Because I am Alex. Every second. I went to the gala, smiled for cameras, but inside, I was screaming your name. Tears tracked her cheeks. She grabbed my shirt, desperate. I delayed the vote, bought time. But if I bail now without a plan, he crushes me. Lawsuits, smears, exile. I searched her face, storm-tossed sincerity. Then what's the play? Runaway heiress and her barista beau? Fairy tale bullshit. She laughed, watery. Maybe, or we fight smart. I have allies, board members who see dad's tyranny. Give me a week. I'll dismantle from within. Her hand cupped my jaw, thumb tracing stubble. I choose you, imperfect heart and all. The kiss came fierce, salt and longing, hands fisting fabric as if anchoring to reality. I surrendered, pulling her close, the world narrowing to her heartbeat against mine. We rebuilt in fragments. Secret meets in Central Park under autumn blaze. Her in hoodies, me with thermoses of illicit brews. She'd whisper strategies, leverage clauses, whistleblower whispers, while I mapped escape routes. Cheaper rent upstate, mom's care covered by community funds. Love deepened, raw and resilient. One twilight, sprawled on a bench, she traced my compass. This? It's us. Thorny path, true north. I kissed her temple. Lead on, Voss. But empires bite back. Reginald Voss struck first, subtle, surgical. My supplier cut deliveries. Corporate directive. The note read. Tips vanished. Replaced by Voss industry scouts posing as patrons. Grilling regulars about the barista and the boss's girl. Paranoia crept. I installed a cheap cam, caught a tail on my walk home. Ellie fumed during a stolen lunch. He's testing me. Wants me broken before I break him. Her fire reignited mine. Then let's burn bright. The week climaxed in shadows. Ellie texted coordinates. Abandoned warehouse in Red Hook, midnight. I arrived wary, flashlight cutting fog, heart pounding like a drum solo. She waited by rusted rails, laptop glowing. Here, she said, pulling files, emails, ledgers proving Voss's shady dealings. Environmental gouges, bribe trails. Whistleblower gold. Leak this, and the board revolts. Adrenaline surged. You sure? She nodded. Fierce. For us. For real. We uploaded to secure drops. Journalists, activists, then fled to my shop, barricading with laughter and leftover pie. Dawn broke. News alerts blared. Voss Industries scandal rocks Wall Street. Stock plunged. Reginald's empire teetered. Ellie collapsed against me, exhilarated, exhausted. We did it. Our kiss tasted of victory, sweet, searing. But betrayal's echo lingered. Victor called her that afternoon. Voice oily on speaker. Clever, Eleanor. But Daddy dearest knows your source. That little coffee dive? Inspectors inbound. Health codes. Taxes. Poof. Click. My blood iced. They'll bury us. She paled but straightened. Not if we go public. Together. The gauntlet thrown, we braced. Flawed hearts united against the machine. Reginald's retaliation hit like a freight train. By evening, yellow tape fluttered across being there. Violations pending. Inspectors cited phantom mold. Unlicensed mods, trumped-up tyranny. I stood on the stoop, watching my dream euthanized. Fury boiling. Mom's call pierced. Eviction notice? Alex, what's happening? Lies tumbled. I hung up, gutted. Ellie arrived in a borrowed Civic, face thunderous. He's accelerating the merger. Emergency board meet tomorrow. Victor's leading the charge. We drove to her penthouse. First time I'd crossed that threshold. Marble halls mocking my sneakers. She paced glass walls overlooking Manhattan's glitter. I confront him tonight. End this. Fear clawed me. What if he wins? She stopped, cupping my face. Then we rebuild. You me a food truck in Portland. Coffee and chaos. Her lips met mine, tender anchor. I love you, Alex Reyes. Flaws and fire. Love. First utterance, raw as rain. I echoed it, holding tight as storms gathered. The penthouse elevator dinged like a guillotine's prelude, depositing us into opulence that choked. Crystal chandeliers dripped light over Persian rugs. City lights winked beyond floor-to-ceiling windows, indifferent to the war brewing below. Ellie shed her coat, revealing a crimson dress, armor for the arena. Stay here, she said, hand lingering on mine. Kitchen's that way. Wine's decent. I nodded, throat tight, watching her vanish down a corridor of polished oak. Alone in enemy territory, I poured Merlot with trembling hands, the vintage mocking my corner store swill. Muffled voices rose, Reginald's baritone, a bulldozer in Brooks Brothers, Victor's tenor, serpentine. Then Ellie's, steel-wrapped silk. Father, this ends now. The leaks, your house of cards collapsing. Pause heavy as lead. Ungrateful child, he thundered. I built this for you, and you repay with sabotage? For that, barista scum. My grip whitened the stem. Scum. The word echoed juvie taunts, fostered dismissals. Footsteps. Heavy, hers light. Victor's laugh slithered. Darling, think. Marry me, seal the deal. We quash the scandals, exile the help. Paradise. She spat. Paradise? Your cage, Victor. I choose freedom. A crash, glass shattering. I bolted toward the fray, bursting into a library straight from a noir flick. Leather-bound tomes, roaring fire, Reginald Voss looming like a colossus, face apoplectic. Ellie stood defiant, shards at her feet. Victor smirked from an armchair, tumbler in hand. Reginald whirled on me, eyes venomous slits. You, the parasite poisoning my daughter. His finger jabbed, accusation incarnate. Street rat with a sob story. Think you deserve her? She's Voss blood. Words lashed, each whipping old wounds. Dad's abandonment, mom's weary sighs. I straightened, voice steady. Deserve? No one's handing out scorecards, sir. But love? That's not earned. It's chosen. Ellie stepped beside me, hand in mine. Unbreakable. He's right, Dad. I choose him. Over your throne, your threats. Silence fractured. Reginald's laugh barked, hollow. Choose? Folly. Sign the merger, Eleanor, or watch your lover's hovel razed. His debts called, his mother's care revoked. Ice flooded my veins, Mom. He knew. Victor rose, clapping slow. Touching. But empires eat dreamers. Ellie paled, grip crushing. You wouldn't. Reginald's smile curdled. Test me. We fled to the bedroom wing, door slamming like finality. Ellie collapsed onto silk sheets, sobs racking. He'll destroy you to save face. I held her, rocking gently. Then we fight dirty. Your files. More dirt. She nodded, fierce through tears. Offshores, kickbacks. Enough to indict. Dawn planning. Allies contacted. Lawyers looped. Oppressor prepped. But as sunlight gilded the skyline, doubt gnawed. What if it's not enough? She traced my jaw. Then we fall together. Humanely. The boardroom battle erupted at noon. Voss Tower. A monolith of glass and greed-piercing midtown haze. Ellie strode in, flanked by defectors. Silver-haired execs weary of Reginald's reign. I waited in the lobby, a ghost in khakis, heart sinking to the lobby clock's tick. Hours dragged. Coffee soured in my styrofoam. Then, chaos. Shouts echoing down halls, security scrambling. Victor burst from the elevator, face ashen, barking into his phone. He spotted me, lunging. You ruined her. Fist cocked. I dodged, adrenaline surging. She ruined your game, Langford. Ellie emerged then, triumphant. Papers clutched, Reginald cuffed between feds in crisp suits. "RICO violations," she explained, breathless, as flashes popped. "The board voted him out. Me in interim." Joy warred with weariness in her eyes. Victor snarled, "This isn't over." Before agents hauled him away, we escaped to the plaza, rain-slicked fountains mirroring tears of relief. "We won," she whispered, forehead to mine. But victory tasted bittersweet. Reginald's glare from the squad car seared. "You'll regret this, girl." Fallout cascaded. Headlines hailed Ellie as reformer. Vostok rebounded on ethical pivot promises. But shadows clung. Anonymous threats scrawled on shop windows, "Traitor's whore." My mail stuffed with IRS audits. Mom's hospital hounded by donor withdrawals. Reginald's ghosts. We fortified. Private security for the shop. Reopened under lax codes. Community rallying with GoFundMe waves. Ellie's penthouse traded for a brownstone in Park Slope. Our neutral ground, walls echoing with shared silences. Love deepened in the debris. Evenings blurred into intimacy. Her in my faded tees, me in her cashmere throws, cooking disasters yielding to takeout confessions. She'd recount boardroom victories. I'd share Mom's chemo wins, her hand steady in mine during infusions. "You're my north," she'd murmur, fingers weaving with my tattoo vines. Intimacy bloomed emotional. Nights talking till stars faded. Vulnerabilities bared like open ledgers. One winter eve, snow blanketing the stoop, she knelt by the hearth. "Alex Reyes, flawed barista of my heart. Marry me? Not for mergers, but mornings like this." Tears pricked. I pulled her up, kissing salt and snow. Yes, every imperfect day. Rings simple, silver bands etched with compass thorns. Sealed in a courthouse hush, witnesses our barista crew and Mom, frail but beaming from a wheelchair. Yet peace fractured insidious. Spring thawed secrets. Ellie's private emails hacked, leaked to sleazy blogs. Heiress's dirty deal. Barista boy toy exposed. Grainy pics. Our park picnics, alley kisses, splashed with venom. From boardrooms to bedrooms, Voss's gay gamble. Backlash roared. Pickets at Voss Tower. Family values first. Sponsors fleeing, stock dipping. Ellie faced the media gauntlet, voice unwavering. Love isn't leverage, it's liberty. But privately, cracks showed. Sleepless nights, her tossing with whispers of doubt. "Am I costing you everything?" I held her through storms. "Nah, you're gaining me the world." Mom passed that May, peaceful, in her sleep post-remission glow. Funeral packed. Shop regulars, Ellie's allies, a tapestry of lives touched. Eulogy choked. She taught resilience, like the man who served her last coffee with extra love. Ellie squeezed my hand, her grief mirroring mine, binding us tighter. Climax crested unbidden. Victor, out on bail, cornered us at a fundraiser Voss Gala turned reform rally. Champagne flowed, jazz hummed. He slunk from shadows, reeking of scotch and spite. "Eleanor, darling, still slumming?" His hand clamped my shoulder, bruising. "Or has the rat scurried?" I shrugged free. Ellie stepped forward, ice queen. "Victor, you're done. Charges stick." He sneered, pulling a flash drive. "Insurance. Your lover's juvie file, boosted cars. Assaults. Public soon. Unless you resign." Quietly. Betrayal's sequel, my past weaponized. Ellie's face drained. She glanced at me, agony raw. "Alex." I swallowed bile. "Let him. Secrets rot anyway." But Victor laughed. "Heroic? Pathetic. She's mine by blood. Voss legacy demands it." He lunged at her. I intercepted, fists flying in a blur of rage. Punches landed, his nose crunching, my lips splitting. Security swarmed. Gala dissolved in flashes and shouts. In the aftermath, ER stitches, police statements, Ellie wept. "I can't let him ruin you." I cupped her bruised knuckles. "He already tried." We rise scarred, not shattered. But dawn brought the leak. Files viral. Headlines howling Heiress's hoodlum. Criminal cache exposed. Shop vandalized overnight. Windows smashed. Queer quitter scrawled in red. Calls flooded. Cancellations. Curses. I swept glass. Resolve fracturing. Maybe. Space. The word escaped. Poison. She recoiled. Space? Or surrender? Argument ignited. Fears flaring. My burdens dragging her down. Her spotlight scorching me. I love you, she cried. But this war, it's devouring us. Door slammed. Silence deafened. Alone amid ruins, I sank, compass spinning wild. Days dissolved into desolation. The shop a husk of echoes. Empty stools mocking merriment. Counters cold without her warmth. I poured solitary shots. Staring into black mirrors. Ghosts of laughter haunting steam. Victor's leak metastasized. Talk shows dissected my thug past. Activists split on queer reformers' shady squeeze. Ellie vanished into crisis mode. Board huddles. Legal barricades. Text sparse. Hold on. Love. But holding felt like drowning, each breath heavier. Mom's absence amplified voids. Her urn on the mantel whispered resilience, but grief gnawed relentless. A letter arrived. Reginald stationery post-prison. You stole my daughter. Now watch her fall. Voss blood runs true. Weak links snap. Enclosed. Forged docs implying I'd blackmailed her rise. Paranoia peaked. I ghosted allies, barricaded alone. One whiskey-soaked night. Phone rang unknown. Victor's slur. Run, rat. Or I frame you for the old man's suicide attempt. Pills last week. Your idea per leaks. Click. Terror coiled. I bolted locks. Shadows lunging. Dawn demanded action. I texted Ellie. Meet. Now. Endgame. Prospect Park. Our sanctuary. Blossoms mocking barren hearts. She arrived windswept. Eyes hollowed. Alex, the board's fracturing. Sponsors bolt. Dad's allies sabotage from cells. I handed the letter, voice raw. Victor's escalating. Frames me next. Horror bloomed on her face. No. We expose him, recordings, tales. Plan hatched frantic. Allies mobilized. PIs hired. A sting prepped. But as we clasped hands under willows, doubt surfaced. If we lose, she pressed forehead to mine. We don't. Humanely, together or ashes. The trap sprung at dusk. Victor's lair. A Soho loft dripping ostentation. Skyline mocking from terraces. Disguised as delivery, irony's bite. I slipped in, mic pinned. He lounged, scotch swirling, monologuing malice. Eleanor's blind, thinks love trumps legacy. But I'll bury her pet project. Then her. Cuffs clicked. NYPD swarming. Ellie's tip flawless. Game over Langford, she said from the doorway, voice thunder. He lunged, feral. I tackled, ribs cracking under his weight. Chaos reigned, shouts, scuffles, till he slumped, cuffed and cursing. Interrogation transcripts vindicated. Victor's machinations unraveled, hacks, forgeries, Reginald's complicity. Trials loomed. Voss purged, rising phoenix-like under Ellie's ethical helm. But victory's cost tallied steep. Shop shuttered permanent. Vandalism's toll, spirit sapped. I packed crates, heart leaden, brownstone echoing empty. Ellie found me there amid boxes. Come home, she pleaded. Build with me. I hesitated, scars throbbing. Your world's healing, mine's rubble. Am I? Enough. Tears welled. She knelt, ring glinting. Enough? You're everything. Flawed, fierce, my north. Rebirth stirred slow. We relocated upstate, Hudson Valley Haven. Rolling hills bombed to urban scars. New venture. The Compass Cup, a co-op cafe in a converted barn, sourced beans, community roasts, rainbow flags fluttering proud. Ellie divested stakes, funding scholarships for queer youth, mom's legacy in every pore. Mornings dawned gentle. Her stirring as I ground beans, kisses over counters, whispers weaving dreams. Yet humanism's hue-tempered joy. Reginald's trial brought ghosts. frail in orange, eyes hollowed by betrayal's mirror. Ellie testified, love's mercy in measured words. You built walls, Dad. I choose bridges. He crumpled, sentence lightened by her plea. Victor's fall shattered sharper. Suicide watch after conviction. Whispers of regret. No triumph. Just sorrow's quiet nod to shared frailty. Anniversary marked a year. Valley sunset painting hills gold. Picnic under stars. Thai takeout. Upgraded. She leaned into me, head on shoulder. Regret. I traced her ring. Never. We chose heart over empire, messy, but ours. Laughter bubbled. Fireflies danced witness. Love, we'd learned, wasn't perfection's polish but resilience's patina. Scratched, shining. Years folded forward. Compass Cup thrived. A beacon for wanderers, ex-cons barista trained, artists in residence. Ellie's foundation seeding similar spots nationwide. We adopted Milo, a scruffy rescue pup, his wagging chaos mirroring ours. Weddings wove in, ours renewed under oaks, vows etched deeper by trials. In flaws we find fortitude. I said, her, and in choice our compass. One autumn eve, as leaves carpeted the porch, Ellie handed me a mug. Cinnamon Dash, her signature. Remember Brooklyn rains? I smiled, pulling her close. How could I forget? You chose wrong, then right. She kissed me, soft as forgiveness. No wrongs, Alex. Just us, imperfect hearts, perfect storm. In America's vast tapestry, Brooklyn grit to Valley grace, we carved a thread. Two men loving fiercely, flaws bared, worlds bridged. Not fairy tale flawless, but humanly heroic. And in that, redemption's quiet roar.